October 8, 2024, in a move that sent shockwaves throughout the NFL, the New York Jets fired head coach Robert Saleh after a disappointing 2-3 start to the season. Jets owner, Woody Johnson, made the decision just 5 weeks into the season, a decision he's never made before in his 25 years of ownership. The expectations for this team were sky high coming into the year. With the acquisition of future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, the Jets were seen as a legitimate Super Bowl contender, but things went wrong quickly. Let's take a step back to understand how we got here. Robert Saleh, hired in 2021, came in with immense optimism and a promise to turn the Jets around. He was known as one of the best defensive minds in the league, having led the San Francisco 49ers to a Super Bowl appearance just 2 years prior. The Jets, who had been stuck in mediocrity for years, believed they had found the right leader. Saleh was a fiery, passionate coach who had all the tools to build a winning culture in New York. When he first arrived, he made bold claims. He spoke about championships, about turning the Jets into a force in the NFL, and for the first couple of seasons, fans were willing to be patient, trusting that Saleh's vision would eventually bear fruit. But after 3 seasons, with a recorded 20 wins and 36 losses, and no playoff appearances, that patience wore thin. The Jets were no closer to ending their 13-year playoff drought, the longest active streak in the NFL. The 2024 season was supposed to be different. This was supposed to be the year the Jets finally turned it around. Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, was brought in to lead the team. The defense, anchored by stars like Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner, was ranked among the top 5 in the league. Everything seemed to be in place. But then, disaster struck. In the very first game of the season, Rodgers tore his Achilles, an injury that sent shockwaves through the organization. With Rodgers sidelined, the Jets' offense struggled to find any rhythm. Backup quarterback Zach Wilson, despite his best efforts, couldn't replicate Rodgers' magic. As the losses began to pile up, the pressure mounted. The Jets lost 2 straight games, including a crushing defeat to the Denver Broncos in Week 4. That game was supposed to be a bounce-back opportunity for the Jets, but instead, it ended in heartbreak. Then came Week 5, a game played in London against the undefeated Minnesota Vikings. Despite putting up a fight, the Jets once again fell short, losing 23-17. For many, that game felt like the breaking point. Something had to change. Woody Johnson, who had remained patient through years of disappointment, finally reached his limit. He made the decision to part ways with Saleh, a move that shocked not only the Jets fan base but the entire NFL. Johnson said he had been thinking about this decision for a long time, citing the need for a new direction. In his words, "This is the best team I've had in 25 years of ownership, and I believe we need a change to maximize our potential." Saleh, who had been blindsided by the decision, was escorted from the Jets facility, a protocol followed during high-profile dismissals. Despite his promises of bringing championships to New York, Saleh's tenure ended without a single playoff appearance. His .357 winning percentage ranks as the worst in Jets history for any coach who's overseen more than 40 games. The writing was on the wall. The Jets didn't waste any time naming a replacement. Jeff Ulbrich, the team's defensive coordinator, was appointed as the interim head coach. Ulbrich, known for his high-energy coaching style, is a former NFL linebacker who has been with the Jets since 2021. Though he's never been a head coach before, Ulbrich's leadership of the defense earned him respect within the organization. His first task, rallying a team that's still very much in the playoff hunt, despite the turmoil. After being named interim head coach, Ulbrich addressed the entire team. His message was simple: it's time to lock arms. He emphasized unity and the need to move forward together, but his job won't be easy. The Jets' offense, in particular, has been a point of concern. Offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett, who was brought in to replace Mike LaFleur after last season, has struggled to get results. Hackett, who has a long history with Aaron Rodgers, was supposed to turn the Jets' offense into a powerhouse. But with Rodgers injured, the unit has been inconsistent, to say the least. There are already rumors swirling that Hackett could lose his play-calling duties, but Ulbrich has been non-committal on whether any changes will be made. When asked about potential changes, Ulbrich said, "We're going to take a hard look at everything. We need to find ways to win, and we can't keep doing the same thing expecting different results." One of the key decisions Ulbrich will have to make is whether he will continue calling the defensive plays or delegate that responsibility to another coach on staff. It's a big decision, and one that could have a significant impact on the team's performance in the coming weeks. The Jets are still just 1 game out of first place in the AFC East. Their upcoming game against the Buffalo Bills is crucial. Despite the team's struggles, they're not out of the playoff race yet. but the margin for error is shrinking. If the Jets can turn things around and make a playoff push, Ulbricht's interim status could turn into something more permanent. But if the losses continue to mount, the Jets will likely head into the offseason looking for a new head coach. For Woody Johnson, the firing of Robert Saleh is a statement. It's a statement that mediocrity will no longer be tolerated. The Jets have been mired in mediocrity for too long, and Johnson is determined to change that.
The addition of Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be the final piece of the puzzle, but with Rodgers injured, the team has had to find a way to win without him. Johnson made it clear that the decision to fire Saleh was his and his alone. He consulted with general manager Joe Douglas, but ultimately, it was Johnson who made the call. The frustrations with the Jets' offense date back to last season. After a disappointing 2020 campaign, Johnson reportedly forced Saleh to change offensive coordinators. That led to the hiring of Hackett, a move that was widely seen as a way to lure Rodgers to New York. But now, with Rodgers out and the offense struggling, Johnson has had enough. He's looking for answers, and he's hoping Ulbricht can provide them. The road ahead won't be easy. The Jets have a tough schedule, and the pressure is on. But there's still hope. The defense, led by stars like Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner, remains one of the best in the league. If the offense can find some consistency, the Jets could still make a run. But time is running out. As Ulbricht said in his first address to the team, we need to lock arms. We need to commit to the process. Whether the Jets can turn things around and make a push for the playoffs remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the stakes have never been higher for this franchise. The firing of Robert Saleh marks the end of another chapter in the long, storied history of the New York Jets. For fans, it's a familiar feeling, hope followed by disappointment. But there's always hope. With a talented roster and a new coach at the helm, the Jets are at a crossroads. Will they finally turn things around, or will they continue to be mired in mediocrity? Only time will tell. The narrator's voice fades, leaving viewers with a visual of a New York Jets helmet under the stadium lights, representing the hope and uncertainty of what lies ahead for the franchise.